Hey, it's Sim here, and we're starting out with the first of my 20th century architectural style speed builds. I was actually inspired to do these by Deligracy. Some of you may know her. I love her videos. She did this Art Deco one a while back, and I was like, oh, wouldn't that be cool to just go through all the architectural styles of the 20th century? And so I'm starting with the Prairie style, which started at about 1900. It's got a lot of flat lines, hipped roofs, overhanging eaves, horizontal bands of windows, and integration with the landscape. Right now I'm just playing around with the layout. I actually did this house once before, but my recording wasn't working, so I rebuilt it. It's still taking a little while to figure out the way I want it to look, mostly because the last house had a little too many flat lines, and this one I wanted to have a little bit more character to it, even though they're not supposed to have too much detail. This house is very big. A lot of them are pretty big. I tried to not make it too big interior-wise. There's a lot of hallways. The dining room is pretty big, and the study's pretty big as well. But yeah, just putting in the master bedroom there. The thing is with this one, they're really big, but they're also supposed to be really flat. And they're really big because there's a lot of land in the West, like in where I used to live, and in the Midwest especially, which is where these were obviously popular because Prairie. The name doesn't actually come from the architects, but from this historian, H. Allen Brooke, who wrote a lot of essays about the style of architecture. This is very, think almost log cabin, I guess-ish. It's very frontier. It's very, this is the West and, wild, well, not really Wild West, more like, oh, I was having a lot of trouble with the hallways. For some reason, they wouldn't count the hallways. It wouldn't count the hallways as a actual room, and I had to put a roof on it, and it was just very frustrating overall. But no, yeah, they're very big houses, and they're in the West, and they're just gorgeous. I love this style. I love the way it blends in. That little triangle window eave thing there was actually done in one of the designs, but because you can't really place walls over walls, and the walls didn't really have the texture I wanted, I had to do that little half wall, almost balcony thing. I think it looks cool. Here you can see me trying to get the really flat roofs. It's hard in The Sims 4. I don't know. The roofs are very hard to do. They don't blend in with each other. I hated that line. I was trying to get rid of it as much as I possibly could. A lot of these builds are actually inspired by the indigenous American architecture. They don't have a lot of Christian or European influence to them. They're very American, I would say, and not even really apple pie, 4th of July American, more indigenous American, very inspired. You're going to see some rugs within the builds that are definitely look like Navajo or Hopi rugs. These are, I don't know, it's a very hard build for me, I guess, because I like building smaller homes a lot more. I have a lot of trouble with interiors, and also there wasn't supposed to be too much detailing, which means I tried to not make it look as modern. Oh, I was having so much trouble with those stairs. For some reason, they wouldn't let me go to 2. I don't know. I had to eventually put it over to the side, but you'll see that later. Right now I'm doing the horizontal bands of windows. There are actually only about 3 different horizontal bands of windows styles here, and you'll see me use all of them multiple times. The windows I'm putting in right now are actually going to be taken out, I think, because... Oh, no, that's downstairs. Downstairs, that area becomes a bathroom. I wish you could put more than one window on each wall. I think that would have helped a lot for this build. I wasn't scaling the windows. I don't know why I didn't, but I didn't. Yeah, I'm having a lot of trouble with that eave over there. But yeah, we only have 3 different horizontal bands styles in the game, which means I do have to use some vertical style windows in the build, like those ones you see at the front. Yeah, I just saved a little bit there. I really love that door. That door is super in with the style, but the one I put in the back is going to go because that's not very Prairie style at all. Prairie style is actually still used a lot in buildings, especially in the Southwest, which I only know because I used to live there. Putting in some grass near the steps and some flowers because the houses are supposed to really blend into the environment, and that wall there doesn't really look right. I had so much trouble with the walls, painting them. You'll see that in a bit. And I'm putting a few more flowers and stuff here as well for the same reason. I actually have to move them a little bit later because they kind of stick through the wall and get in the way of the space, but I think it looks very nice. You know, it's a good style. I'm doing a little bit of windows here. Oh, these windows were so hard. I've already said there are only like 3 of them, and you either have like the full one that just gives out like no space, like no privacy whatsoever, or you've got the little like prison bar windows, or you've got that like double one that's also really big, and the single one doesn't work very well either. It's just like it was very hard to do this in The Sims. The walls. I'm having a lot of trouble with the walls, mostly because they're supposed to be like very wood and stone. I end up going with some brick detailing and some wood, but I go through the walls multiple times. I really liked that one. That's the one I used on the other one because of the horizontal nature of the siding, but it wasn't working. The colors weren't right. This is a very orangey yellow, like reddish wood build, and with some really light woods in there too, and that was just like a little too gray for what I wanted it to look. I built most of this actually at like sunset because I don't know, it just fits like the west and sunset. It feels very with the build. So I wanted to make sure everything looked good at sunset, and that I also uploaded it to the gallery at sunset. Oh, I should go fix that. I'll forget to put stairs in here later, and I gotta go upload that to the gallery again and fix it, but I'm sure by the time this is posted, it'll definitely be fixed up there. I had a lot of trouble with the roofing things too. I don't know. It was just very hard. We're using all base game content here, so I don't know. The flooring was hard for the ceilings. Finding the good tile for the roofs were hard as well, because you want it to look very horizontal, but all the horizontal ones are those metal ones, which like are way too shiny. As you can see, I'm putting some brick detailing right here, and that's supposed to be a little chimney over there. Although I don't remember whether I actually put a fireplace there. I think that actually becomes a stairway, so there's no real fire there, but it goes with the aesthetic very well. We're about to change the woods up, as you can see, because I wanted something really warm, but all the really warm ones were really dark, and we'll go through multiple versions. Or maybe this is the final version. I actually can't really tell right now. I don't quite remember, but I think this is the final version. Yeah, here we are doing the roof tiling, going through everything. We do end up with the dark one just because I was looking at a picture and it had a dark roof, but we end up with like a really white light around it, which is nice, and it fits with it. Well, there's a lot of white accents in this, like not white, kind of like creamy white accents in here. And we're getting to the interior. At first, I wanted a big hallway, and so you'll see me put that in. It's not a great hallway. Yeah, there's the bathroom. Here's me trying to do the hallway thing, but it wasn't totally working out. So I make that a little entranceway, and then I make a hallway, and then I actually get rid of one of the walls, and that just becomes like a dining room area. And I actually didn't put the dining room with the kitchen. I put the living room with the kitchen, and then I put the dining room and like a bar separate. The kitchen took me a while. I don't know. I was having trouble with the cupboards. Originally, I wanted really old-fashioned stoves and fridges, just because I thought whoever lived here might have been like kind of stuck in the past a little bit. I don't know. I feel like it's a very American thing. I think we technically tend to focus a lot more on like our past, especially the Old West and like the glory days of like the World Wars when there was actually like a real enemy and we weren't the bad guys and all that stuff. Oh wait, probably shouldn't talk politics in this, but yeah, I don't know, I feel like there's a large glorification of this time in American history, and I feel like I could understand why someone would want to keep that there. So I've got the old stove and things, but eventually I get rid of it, just like I get rid of the island eventually, just because it doesn't really fit with the pictures I was looking up for this build. But the slightly older fashioned cabinets definitely work. I got that older sink in there, and then I put the coffee machine in the microwave in, and I was like, might as well just upgrade everything else. I did end up going with a fridge that said icebox on it though, just for old time's sake, and to go with the original idea of the design. Yeah, I've got move objects on here, so I'm adding a few decorations to this build. Honestly, that's the best thing. I've got a lot of like older fashioned appliances, like the scale, and I've got I think a milk jug in there. There's little coffee packets. Just because also I feel like, I don't know, I was in a house like this over the weekend and I was like, oh wow, that's like, they get really cold in these. So there are a lot of rugs, even though all the floors are wooden, and I got the coffee machine in the microwave just so everyone can have like really warm food and really warm drinks. Because even though like the surroundings obviously don't match it as much, I just feel like this house would be really cold, and Yeah, so we actually end up putting the stairs there, so all the trouble I go to with these curtains isn't really for anything, but it was fun while it lasted. You actually won't see the stairs being put in here. I did that later, like just a few minutes ago, when I was looking through it doing screenshots, and I was like, wow, there's nothing here. That's great. I was having a lot of trouble with the rugs. I don't know why I didn't just size them up, but it was a lot of trouble. I love that couch. That couch fits so well with this build. And I put a really old TV in there just because I felt, to go with the whole stuck in the past vibe that was going on. I actually didn't put any pictures on here right now, but I'll put them in later when I put in the stairs because I realized how bland that wall looks. I didn't realize it then. I love those lights too. Those lights are everywhere. They fit with the build really well as well. I moved the archway a little bit, and then we're going to do the dining room right here. I felt like I wanted a really big dining room. I felt like I wanted a big table and lots of wooden chairs. Everything in here is very wooden, and I kind of like the way it looks. It gives a slight cabin feel to it, even though it's so big and it's not really like cabin, because I feel like cabins have a lot taller walls and are a lot more built for snow, and this obviously isn't built for snow. It's more built for, like I said, the prairie and the southwest and stuff. There's the bar, trying to figure out where to put the bar. It eventually goes where it is right now. There's few plates and stuff. Those plates are eventually moved to the other side so I can put some wine bottles up there. Yeah, there's a lot of yellow in this build. I actually almost called it the sunflower house just because I put a lot of sunflowers and I put a lot of yellow in it. It fits with the color scheme really well. That coat hanger and stuff eventually goes in the entranceway, even though I know no one will ever really use it just because it looks better there. Lots of art. There's a lot of art in this house. I'm pretty sure the art period during this time was realism, so there's a lot of nature paintings and not so much like modern art. There will be a few pieces that look a little older or more modern, but I would like to think that's just because of people giving presents or it being modernized. We only end up with one cabinet in there. And then I was going to put the stairs here, but they weren't really fitting, so this stuff's still here. It's a little breakfast table. It kind of overlooks the outside. It hasn't been player tested, so I'm not totally sure how it works. There's no showers in this build either. It's just baths. And I really like that bath. I like the way it looks. I like the kind of southwestern tiles I put in the bathroom, and I changed the lighting up in there a little bit too. All of these have nice mirrors, and that towel, I love that towel. I use that towel a lot. And I'll put sunflowers in here as well as in the other bathrooms just because, yeah, like I said, I almost named this a sunflower house. There are a lot of sunflowers in here and there's a lot of yellow. And I don't know, it gives it a little more character than just all brown wood. I didn't want it to be all brown wood. Here I am messing around with the wood styles. I eventually go with that crisscross pattern that's in the other room for almost everywhere downstairs. And now we're doing like the coat hangers in the little entranceway room. I like that. Everyone can hang up their hat and their coat after the probably long trek it would be to get out here. I know it's technically in the middle of a city in The Sims, but I don't know. I feel like this would be like kind of out of the way. I feel like it would take a few hours to drive to or ride to, I guess, if you're on a horse. I don't know why I said horse. But yeah, more very nature-oriented art here. Now we're going upstairs, where that's going to be the master bathroom and the master bedroom that I just put the doors in, and the nursery and the study. I don't know. I was having trouble with doors. I don't know. I'm very picky about door handles. I was like looking at my door and I was like, which way does it swing and all that stuff. But yeah, here's the bathroom going with that like slightly lighter tile look again. I really like the triangulars. There was going to be two baths, but I couldn't get that one to look the way I wanted it to, so I ended up with one bath and that's going to be moved. And then, yeah, here I am doing the moving because I want two sets of cabinets because this is supposed to be like a his and hers or hers and hers or his and his. It's for a couple. This is a couple bathroom. And I put the mirrors in the middle using Move Objects On. And there's the sunflowers, like I said there would be. And a few candles with the sinks. Just, I don't know, it fit the vibe very well. We're going to do a mirror on the other side. And a towel. Oh, do we not do the mirror? Oh, yeah, because we already have those mirrors. I thought we did a mirror. Well, that's okay. Here we are moving around the bedroom so we can have the master bedroom be a little bigger than it was originally. I want it to look really nice. I really like the pattern of like the kind of rug thing at the end of the bed. Those beds are so perfect for this build. I don't know. Sims is really catered to all the different architectural styles, and you can actually filter by some of them. Not specifically this one. I had to go through a lot of filters to find the specific things I wanted for this, but I don't know. There's a lot of pieces that look really well with this style. We're probably going to end up with going with more white or yellow here. I really wanted that rock piece of a wall just because I thought it looked really cool, but we don't go with it. We go with like a really big painting there, and the sunset painting, of course, because like I said earlier, what this build is such a sunset build. Sunset, sunflower, lots of sun. I think it's because it's out in nature. I think it's because the owners of this place probably would have wanted a lot of nature things. There's an old clock over there. There was a gramophone in this build, but I might have gotten rid of it to put the stairs in. Now we're doing the nursery. I really wish that we had toddlers in The Sims 4 like we do in The Sims 3, just because I feel like the nursery and stuff would be put to a lot more use. I got that lump of clay. I think that's hilarious. There's just a lump of clay as a toy, and I also think it fit really well with the build, but it's so small, so I wanted to make sure it was seen very well. Put in a little mobile, and I put some trains in there, obviously, because the West and the Midwest is all like very centered on the railroad, and I feel like this would be in a town that had a railroad, and I think the kids would be obsessed with the railroad. I put the little stickers in there just to go along with the nature theme, like the little yellow bunnies in the tree. And I wanted to keep that room very gender neutral for whatever baby whoever lives here gets to have. Here's the study. I love those rugs. I've already said that, but those rugs are great. And the study originally was going to have 2 bookcases, but I get rid of one of them to put in a chest table. I wanted those lights just because of the mood stuff, but it didn't really fit with the style of the build, so I don't use them. An older computer too, just like the older TV downstairs, to go with the whole we're kind of stuck in the past thing. I really love those sketches. There are a lot of sketches in here in the study. I feel like this is very much a creative space for artwork, and I feel like the people who live here are definitely very creative. I actually have a skills corner. Some of it gets destroyed because I want to put the stairs there, but we're going to do that right now. We're going to do the little skills corner, I think. And the stairs go where the easel is, so I move that. But I get rid of the acoustic guitar, but the easel and the piano stay. And I definitely feel this is a very creative household. But I also feel like you can be very inspired in nature, and I don't know, it feels good. The chair gets moved because of the stairs too, and that sucks. But there's actually a lot of living area in this house, so I'm not too worried about it. The hallway's just chock full of paintings. This is such a painting house. It's such a creative household. And now we're looking at the outside, and we're going to do the backyard. Once again, trouble with the stairs, but I get it eventually. And then I do the same thing where I put flowers on the side, and here are all these trees. I put a lot of pine trees and magnolia trees, and just trees that looked a little colder. I wanted to go with the kind of colder weather vibe. I wanted to make sure it's very outside. I put all those planters in case they want to garden. I feel like these Sims would definitely want to garden. And there's a little outdoor table with the grill. Yeah, they want to hang out outside. I wanted to put in a gnome, but a gnome didn't really fit with the style of the build, so I put a fountain in there instead, and then I put some rocks around it so it blended into the environment a little more, and some flowers. There are flowers everywhere out here, especially the wildflowers. I kind of like the way where it looks not so, like, traditionally gardened, even though they're in a specific place. I want it to look kind of like they just threw seeds there and saw what grew, I guess. I feel like this isn't very, like, cultivated. I don't think they'd have a gardener. I think this is just, like, a hobby. There's that stone path leading over there, and then I do some more landscaping up front, and then I put some sunflowers all over the entranceway, and oh my gosh, it's so pretty. Those are the sunflowers that are going in right now. I really should have called this the Sunflower House, but I wanted to stick with naming all of these builds after the Prairie style. So here it is, and these houses really are super romantic houses. Like, think very minimalistic, Ralph Waldo Emerson. That doesn't mean I didn't put in a lot of decoration, of course. And these screenshots are just the house. So that's it. I had a lot of fun making this. I'm really excited to do the next one. And you can see the stairs in these because I put the stairs in there, so the easel got moved. And here's the bedroom with the clay, and oh, it just looks so fun. I would love to live in this house. It's a very good family home. Like, not much a starter home, obviously, because it's super expensive. I checked the price. It's like $120,000. But it's just wonderful, and it's nice. And there's a little sunset picture. It's just such a it's got a lot of character, I think, and I think it fits very specific characters. So I don't know, who knows? Maybe you guys will want to play in this. Here, yeah, here it is. Here's a few views of the outside, just so you can get a feel of. I really wish I could have taken these screenshots at sunset, but I really didn't want to like play through and wait, just because this in my head in here didn't really fit the build. I just used her so I could get the screenshots done, and yeah, that's it. So thank you guys.